Hello, happy Monday, everybody. It's Zach. Hope you're well. Just wanted to touch base. I'm going to start a little new series called Mindset Monday, maybe Motivational Mindset Monday. I'm not exactly sure, but sitting out here at the village office, just getting a little fresh air. Somebody's weed eating in the background, so hopefully you get that as a nice little background tune. Wanted to talk about a couple topics. First was just getting your head around kind of how you're talking to buyers in this market about the market, right? So you've got an opportunity to be the source of information for your network. And you've probably only got one real good shot of that. Obviously, anytime you speak, you could give updates, but I'm going to challenge all of you to this week give some sort of an update to your sphere. I got some notes here, so I'm looking. One thing that I think we all realize, hopefully, is that the way you talk about real estate is ultimately powerful, right? That has an impact on how your buyers and how your network perceives the market. I think sometimes you'll see people be overly optimistic and just say, "Oh, it's fine, it's great, it's wonderful." You can smell that stuff from a mile away, right? So that's not nobody's gonna care about that if you're just overly positive and just sort of blatantly kind of avoiding any facts or whatever they may think of the facts. So one thing that I would suggest do is check with some data sources, right? So check with the RealTracks, the InfoSparks, the reports on RealTracks. Check with Trend Graphics. Check with the monthly market reports that you have at Village, and also tie in some anecdotes in that, so that you can have a good answer for how's the market, right? How's real estate? Well, actually things are ... right? Fill in the gaps and back it up with data, back it up with an anecdote. If you don't have an anecdote for the way that you think it's going, then talk to another agent who might have something. Maybe they had a deal recently and can know how it go. How it went. And I think also buyers are going to want to know, both buyers and sellers, while they might care that you just sold something, they don't necessarily care about just that information. They want to know how you did it, right? So giving them a little bit of information, whether it's through a video like this, a little quick video of, hey, I just sold this property, right? We all like to do that on social media, and you just put a banner over the cost of it that says just sold or whatever it is. Resist the urge to just do that. Instead, explain why, right? Maybe you can do a video like this. Maybe you can just write a little description, but kind of narrate the few points of what made it unique, and ultimately how you achieve success for your client in these times, right? What was different about it? What did you have to do differently? What did you have to do to be successful and be creative in these times? So I challenge each of you to do that. And then to the second part of this video is just giving you some tangible advice in preparation for the sales meeting tomorrow. So I've had a lot of people talking about multiple offers lately, and a lot of people are asking me and the other brokers, how do you get the best chance at winning a multiple offer situation? So I've polled our broker team, and we've come up with the top 5 ways to win in a multiple offer situation. One, obviously have some sort of a bank letter, ideally a pre-approval letter as opposed to a pre-qualification letter. Pre-approval letter is going to be more effective. That shows that your buyer's been through more of the process than just a pre-qualification letter. Secondly, ask that lender to not just provide a letter, but to actually pick up the phone and call the listing agent after you submit the offer. How many times have you been on a listing side and you get a letter from a bank or a lender, and you don't know who that lender is, right? So it's just an anonymous face, name on a piece of paper, and you've never heard of them. You don't know who the agent is, maybe you don't know who the buyer is, obviously. Having the lender call you and just say, hey, listing agent, Mr. and Mrs. Listing Agent, this is so-and-so lender. I just want to let you know that I've worked with, Joe Schmo, the buyer, multiple times in the past. I've done 3 deals with them over the last 10 years. They're good to go. We've, met about this and that. So if you're on the buy side, ask your lender to do that. Third, what about occupancy agreements after the closing? How hard is it for sellers to move out of a property right before they, or move out of one property, move into another all in the same day? Close 2 properties, do a full move, especially in these times. Everybody's trying to wear masks, they're being socially distant. It's hard, y'all. It's really, really hard. So what about doing an occupancy agreement for the seller after closing? Ideally, you pick up the phone and call them, and you talk to the listing agent, and you say, I would challenge you to ask this question, right? Outside of price, can you tell me anything that your sellers are looking for that might have an impact on making a really good offer? If they could wave a magic wand, what does the perfect offer look like for them? What's their ideal closing date? Are there any inclusions or exclusions that I need to be aware of? that maybe aren't listed on the MLS or somewhere else. So talk about that information with the listing agent and try to write your offer, around those things. And if you don't talk to the listing agent, or maybe you're just adding it in as a cherry on top, why don't you offer, 2, 3, 4 days of occupancy for the seller to be able to stay in the home and move out a little bit more on their pace, assuming your buyer is able to do that, and be able to do that at no charge, right? So it's just a freebie. I mean, we're offering tens of thousands of dollars over a list price somehow, and yet you're not willing to give somebody a few $100s worth of occupancy over a few days. Think about it, right? Number 4, inspections. All right. What about trying to do as is? You still have an inspection contingency, maybe even as is, or put a limit, right? It's a $500 limit on the inspection items. We're not going to ask. We want you to know, listing agent, Mr. and Mrs. Listing Agent, we're not going to ask for more than $500 or $1,000 worth of repairs, or we're not going to ask for any repairs. We're still putting it contingent upon a home inspection, so we still have the right to back out, but we're stating up front that we're not going to ask for anything substantial. It creates clarity on the front end, so there's not that big unknown. Another thing that you can do with a home inspection is, before you submit the offer, call a home inspector, get a day lined up, get it penciled in. You can then, instead of putting 10 days, right? That's a long time in a multiple offer situation. Instead of doing that, you can call the listing agent when you're communicating with them, which is also good to do a lot as a buyer's agent trying to win a multiple offer. Communicate with them and say, hey, I know today is Monday. I just want to let you know there was a slot open for Wednesday morning. If there's a chance we can get this deal worked out, I wanted to let you know that I put 5 days on the inspection contingency, but I think we can get this done on Wednesday morning, if that's okay with you. Go ahead and line that up. 5, lastly, keep it clean, right? Don't go asking buyers. I see them do this all the time. Well, they're saying, well, we're offering $10,000 over the purchase price, so let's just ask the seller to pay for a home warranty, or let's ask them to pay for some closing costs. That just complicates the offer. It clutters it up. If you're going to offer a good offer over the purchase price, then do it. Keep it clean. And if they struggle with doing that, help them either with a lender, or just help them do a little mortgage calculation to see what their monthly payment would be based on those few $1,000s that they're asking for. I can almost guarantee you that somebody's probably willing to pay an extra $5 or10 a month in order to keep their deal intact and be able to be the winning bid. So just some thoughts there. Don't forget, sales meeting tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. We're going to do it via live stream on YouTube again, probably a couple more times of that, and we look forward to seeing you then. There's some really good education this week as well, so Teddy's going to send out an email with that information, so stay tuned. Hopefully this was helpful, and we're going to try to do more of these on Mondays. Take care.